be leading with Castor using the around the round pen. So in the previous video you saw some of things of me having a hard time getting him to stand still, so we're going to do a little bit of fixing here after I kind of understand what I'm doing a little bit better. So there I had him stand while I filled up my bucket full of chopped hay, and he stood really nicely there. So he's getting much better at the stay, like as far as practical uses go. Like he can stay while I go grab something, and then he'll be there when I come back, so that's good. We're getting better at that. He did want to line up on his own. I'm okay with that. He kind of offers that behavior. That's not a huge deal, but I am noticing it. So I just want him to stand here. So I'm going to click and feed him for that. So the main problem we've been having is him walking off. So I need to really click this standing behavior and reinforce it highly. So that's what I'm doing here, is just clicking and feeding rapid fire this standing behavior. So a lot of the times when you're switching over from negative reinforcement to positive, you take that standing still behavior for granted. And then when you switch over, you don't think of it as a standing behavior. You think of the horse is waiting for a cue, but that's not how it is in positive reinforcement. So I need to be rewarding the behaviors that I want. And in this case, it's standing. And previously, all I was rewarding was going forward. So, like there, I fed 6 times, I think. Then I'll ask him to go forward. We're just working on some leading here. So I want him to just kind of stay about even with my body with his head. And then I'll click here. I'll take a step forward or so and then feed him. And then I'm just going to put him back. So I'm using my feed to put him in the position I want because he's scooched up a little bit. So I'm just going to click and feed back in position for him standing still, because he was standing still. He was just slightly out of position. I'm just going to put him back again right here. And again, you can see the ratio of standing behavior feeding versus walking behavior feeding is much greater than it was. And he still wants to kind of take a step forward just because we had worked on it for so much wrong, but you can see that he's already getting it, and I've just fixed the ratio of me clicking and feeding the stance. So like this has been feed 6, 7, 8, something like that. He still wants to take one step forward, which I'm okay with, just because of his history of it. And I'm gonna pull my hand back kind of toward his chest, which you can't really see because I'm kind of in the way. And then I'm gonna feed him, and then I'll click again and feed him for try to capture that moment where he's not taking a step forward. You don't really want to click that. I'm okay with him moving forward as long as I put him back, but I don't want to click that moment either because I don't want that 1 foot moving forward to be something that I'm rewarding. So here I'm just clicking over and over and over again because he's standing still nicely. He's not taking that 1 step forward. Um, you can see that he's getting a ton more reinforcement for standing than he is walking, and that's what I should have done in the beginning. I just didn't know what I was doing. So but this is basically going to be two things. So this is the correct way to do it, and it can show you that you can easily fix a behavior that you've messed up with positive reinforcement. It's not a big deal, and as long as you keep learning and growing, like it's fixable. Like here, he's standing nicely, and it's fixable, and I'm not gonna have to feed him rapid like this over and over and over again forever. Like once he's a lot more solid with standing and he wants to offer standing more, then I can count up. So 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, so on and so forth until he can stand there for however long I want. I'll cue him to walk for however long I want, and then again, I'll cue him to stand again for however long. So from there, it's a lot more structured. Like you stand for this many seconds, and I can keep track of it, and then I can base like how well he's doing off of it, along like how long he's standing, and if he's standing well and whatever. So I can reward accordingly. Like if he's standing really well, I can reward more of the walking, and if he's wanting to anticipate and walk more, I'll reward more of the standing, just like I'm doing here. But that way, doing the counting, I can really pay attention to where he's at. So again, I asked him to walk forward a couple steps. I'll reward that, and then I'm just going to reward this standing a lot more. So I'm just clicking and feeding here, and he's not taking that step forward anymore. He's nice and relaxed. I like his head lowering, his body is relaxed, like his muscles aren't tense or anything. He's not anticipating. This looks great. And this is the beginning of fixing it. So again, I'll be rapid firing here, and then I'll do, he can stand 1 second, click, 1 second, click, 1 second, click, 2 seconds, and so on. And you'll see that throughout the training here. This is just kind of the beginning of fixing his like anticipation problem. It's really not his anticipation problem, it's my not paying attention to the standing behavior problem and only rewarding going forward. So any horse is going to have that problem because that's all I was rewarding. There I asked him to back up. That was very nice. And he didn't immediately go forward, so I'm happy with that. He didn't immediately go from the backup into the walk. So, or try to scooch closer to me, so that we've made progress with that. He's taking a couple slow steps, but his tendency was to immediately, when he's going backward, to come forward, or from halt to come forward. He just wants to come and be close to me. And again, that's my problem. Ask him to back up. Those are very nice. So the backup's very good for him as well because he can back away from me and then he doesn't have to be near me to get food. So I'm telling him, like, you can back away and I will still bring the food to you, which a lot of horses have issues with when you start training them with clicker training because they think they have to be next to you all the time in order to get the reinforcement. And I had the same problem with Castor. That's why he was always trying to get so close to me. And again, that was my mistake of not teaching him from the beginning that he will get reinforcement and I will bring it to him. He doesn't have to come to me. So then I asked him to go forward again, clicked him for going forward, and then I'm just again rapid fire feeding for him standing and just in halt. And he's standing really nicely. I really like this part. So we're right on our way to fixing that behavior and getting that sorted out. So um, even though I had been practicing and rewarding that going forward behavior for so long, it is fixable. So don't let that, like, you not being perfect or don't have everything right, as long as it's not a dangerous situation. Don't let that stop you from trying some training. So, like, if you want to try some leaning and stuff like that, to have a basis, but you don't have to know everything to be successful. So, he's doing really, really well, and I'll put him back in stay, and we'll come back to this later.